are going to talk about the COVID-19, and especially COVID-19 is attacking very rapidly in India. And we have a special guest, Dr. Vijay, and he is the former MLA from Delhi and a senior BJP leader. Dr. Vijay, you are most welcome to the International Discourse.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, the country is struggling with a second wave, raising more fears about the overwhelmed healthcare system. What is happening in India? Please let's know about the latest news about India.
You see, India is a country with 135 billion people. And we have various states in the country for whom healthcare has been a state subject. The corona pandemic, which started in early 2020 last year, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, initially our government did extremely well at the federal level, as well as at the state level to control this pandemic. But since 2020 to 2021, even after controlling the first wave which swept India, pan-India, cities as well as villages, the government in a coordinated way was able to control the pandemic to a very large extent. And it was primarily due to that exercise under the leadership of the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, and the Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, India came up with 2 corona vaccines, Covaxin as well as COVID Shield. Till today, in India, 13.5 crore people have been vaccinated. But today, in April 2021, we are facing the onslaught of the second severe wave of corona pandemic in India. We are worried. But with the coordinated effort of the government, of the health apparatus, we are doing a level best to convince the people. Wear masks, stay indoors, sanitize yourself, do not unnecessarily roam on the streets, because this pandemic does not see who is rich and who is poor. But today, the scenario in India is very alarming. And when such alarming news pour into the ears, they turn into fears. But still, India is committed to fight this pandemic, and we are sure, with the cooperation of the people at large, with a huge chunk of populous India, we will overcome this pandemic sooner or later under the leadership of the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi in Republic of India.
Dr. Vijay, you are the senior leader. There is a big problem in Delhi. A person cannot even die peacefully in Delhi. That is the big problem.
I do agree with your comments. These are extraordinary times. These are worst times of corona pandemic. There is shortage of hospital beds. There is shortage of medicines. There is shortage of ventilators. There are shortage of ICU beds. And even there are shortage of cremation grounds. With 133% rise in this corona pandemic, I think every normal health apparatus is bound to collapse. I would not like to mince and admit and deny the fact that the health services in the capital city of India, Delhi, have collapsed. Hospitals are refusing to admit the coronavirus cases on account of shortage of beds, on account of shortage of inhaling oxygen. The fear psychosis is prevailing. We are advising the people and the patients and the families. Take care of your near and dear ones within the four boundary walls of your house, in isolation, with lukewarm water, which can be a certain antidepressant for the corona infections. We are trying a level best. Every day I receive hundreds of calls. Dr. Jolly, please help us. We want a corona ICU bed in the hospital. We need life-saving drugs. We need an oxygen cylinder. And hardly 10 minutes ago, a young man called me up. He says, my grandfather has expired.
Okay, India alone cannot do, itself. I think there should be the international support. Is there any international support, Dr. Vijay?
You see, I would love to thank the various overseas governments which have come forward to extend their hand of support in this pandemic.
Okay.
Whether it is America, whether it is Russia, whether it is Singapore, whether it is the French, or whether it is the Japanese. The humane element of these foreign governments is acknowledged in this hour of crisis in India. Some are providing nebulizers. Some are providing ventilators. Some are providing the fiscal and monetary support. Some are providing health medical care facilities. India is thankful to the external support because in the past, in 2020, when the pandemic had started off in the world, under the leadership of Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi, India was the first government which came forward to help the SAARC nations, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Maldives, and not only the SAARC nations, but also going deep into the Asian subcontinents like Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and also then later on taking the lead to get the G20 Leaders Summit called by the leadership of Saudi Arabia in 2020. When India came forward to help the world community, so do the world community is responding to the Indian medical emergency. We are thankful and we shall never forget this act of kindness in our worst times.
The epidemic seems to have hit India later than in other countries. In this fact, or it is that the virus has not been sufficiently taken into consideration seriously.
I do agree with you. I had opened up my office last year in May 2020. And I was involved in a lot of philanthropic work, providing masks, providing dry ration to the poor, helping out those sections of the society which are poor, which are have-nots. And certainly we saw the graph of the pandemic sliding down. And even so, many of the COVID healthcare centers in India were closed by early January 2021. But the second wave caught India unaware. I would admit this fact that India was in this mindset that we have overcome the first wave of corona pandemic. It is on the slide down, not only in India, but world over. But with a little bit of negligence on part of my brothers and sisters in India, this pandemic second wave have proved to be the worst. But still, we have not lost hope. India and Indians with their strong determination are still today in a mindset. We will emerge victorious even in this worst, severe second wave of corona in India.
Dr. Vijay, the most of the Nepalese people are staying in India. Are you serious about them? I mean, they are living in India, currently. They are planning to leave country.
You see, these rumors are false.
Okay.
No one is intending to leave their own home or homeland. Of course, people have decided to stay indoors.
Okay.
People have decided to stay safe. People have decided to stay secure. People have decided against meeting and greeting friends, colleagues, and foes in public places. And now lately, this second wave of pandemic have forced the Indian mindset to take it seriously, because it can happen with the rich or the poor alike. I think this is a wake-up call of the nature, a wake-up call for my brothers and sisters. Please be serious. Please take this scenario seriously, because once if you are afflicted, then you are only in the hands of the Almighty, with all the medicines playing a secondary role to revive you.
What strategy can the government of India adopt to limit the spread of the virus?
The government of India is doing its level best.
Okay.
Under the Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan's primary objective to break the online connectivity of the coronavirus, which happens from one patient to another, delinking the people, isolating the people, breaking the chain of the coronavirus pandemic,
very good,
ensuring that every face has a mask. I'm only appearing with you on this internet and online communication, so I'm not having a mask on my face. But even people at home are also supporting masks, because this disease spreads very quickly through the air by the breath from the nose as well as the tongue. So the government of India is doing its level best. Some of the states have announced lockdowns. In the capital of India, which is the National Capital Territory of Delhi, the initial lockdown this year was announced on 19th of April till 26th of May. Till 26th of April till today. 7 days. And from today again till 3rd of May, there is again a lockdown and a curfew. People cannot roam on the streets, though the shops with the essential commodities, with vegetables, with groceries, with milk, with food, being kept partially opened. No vehicles are allowed on the road except with prior administrative passes. People are at home. And also in quarantine. Such is the fearful scenario prevailing not only in India, but the second most populous state with the maximum number of corona cases is the international business hub of Maharashtra. Many of the states are afflicted, but still the morale of the Indian people is at high. The morale of the Indian people is, we will take adequate precautions. We might have faltered here and there in the initial stages of the second wave which swept India, but we will not allow this second wave to be victorious. Ultimately, humanity will prevail over such health hazards. And I'm sure with adequate publicity, with more information to the people, telling them to be safe and secure, we will certainly overcome it soon.
Dr. Vijay Joliji, how has Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached for the time being? What announcement has he made? What measures has he planned?
You see, the biggest initiative of the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, is in the first phase, Indian citizens above the age of 45 were vaccinated with the anti-corona injection. And now in the second phase, which will start from 1st of May, every Indian citizen who is above the age of 18 years will be vaccinated with a prior registration. Imagine this happening in a country with 135 billion people. 135 करोड़ population के भारतवर्ष में Prime Minister's clarion call to get everyone vaccinated and saved in corona pandemic is a great step ahead. 3,000 crores of rupees have been advanced to the corona vaccine injection producing companies in India. And they have been given targets to produce as many as possible vaccines. Not only this, it is under the Prime Minister's prerogative and the initiative of international cooperation and brotherhood that the Russian-made Sputnik anti-corona vaccine is made available in India. The custom import duty on anti-corona medicines has been reduced by the government of India.
Okay.
In times when oxygen is in short supply, though Prime Minister Modi had given adequate funds out of the Prime Minister Cares Fund to various states to have oxygen production plants in the country in December 2020, which some of the states faltered in those initiatives. Only yesterday, my Prime Minister announced 551 oxygen producing plants in various states of the country at those hospitals which are looking forward to take care of the corona patients.
Okay.
This is the initiative of my Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, and the Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, in the country.
Okay.
Providing more and more beds and getting oxygen cylinders imported through the Air Force from Singapore and other allied places from outside the country.
Oh, what could be the economic consequences of the epidemic in the country that is already experiencing an economic slowdown?
You see, it is a but natural phenomena.
Okay.
With frequent lockdowns, with frequent curfews, with the markets being closed, with the businesses being shut, with the people sitting at home, there is certainly an economic pandemic taking shape all around us. If you don't generate the business, you don't generate the revenues, you don't generate the profits, and then you don't generate people's economic well-being. Economic crisis, I'm sure, shall be averted in the second wave, like what India did with the first wave which swept India in 2020. With a strong economy, with a strong political leadership, and with the mindset of winning the war against corona pandemic, I'm sure the rich, the middle class, the government class, the laborers, the grassroots workers, the doctors, the nurses, the health workers, we will all come together to become victorious in this hour of crisis. I can tell your Japanese counterparts and the public at large, which is hearing this interview all across the globe through your network channel, India is determined to be victorious by enforcing strict corona pandemic guidelines. And I'm sure in the health sector, in the economic sector, in the development sector, and in the business sector, we will prevail over this crisis, which is here for the time being.
Dr. Jolie, the Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan on Saturday expressed solidarity with the people of India battling the deadly wave of the COVID-19 pandemic and says that we must fight this global challenge, confronting humanity together. Have you heard this message?
We have appreciated this goodwill message of the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan. We have noted his message. But Pakistan is a country with its own problems. Problems of development, problems of terrorism, problems of its own misdoings. We wish the brothers and sisters of Pakistan, the government of Pakistan, all the best in these corona pandemic times. But I still remember in 2020, when the SAARC Leaders Conference was convened by the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Damodar Das Modi, and which was attended by the Prime Minister of various SAARC nations, including Nepal, including Bangladesh, including Bhutan, including Maldives, including Mauritius, including Sri Lanka. That meeting was not attended by the then and the present Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan. I have only narrated this fact. Pakistan should match its words with its deeds on the ground. Because it was only at India's initiative that a SAARC emergency fund was created to provide PPE kits, the protective cover, the masks, the anti-pandemic medicines. And India had come forward. Pakistan had boycotted that meeting. I am sure when Pakistan has expressed its solidarity with India in our hour of crisis, they are all a part of now India and Pakistan, but previously an undivided Hindustan, which was consisting of the areas of India and Pakistan. We are one in color, we are one in creed, we are one in heart, and we are still neighbors.
Okay, Dr. Vijay, thank you so much for sharing your most important time to the international discourse.
Thank you for getting me online on this international discourse. As an Indian citizen and as a senior leader of the ruling party of India, the Bharatiya Janata Party, I, Dr. Vijay Jolly, put on record a deep appreciation, our salute to our brothers in Japan, to our brothers in Russia, to our brothers in America, to our brothers in Pakistan, to our brothers all over the globe, including in our neighborhood, who have felt the pain of our troubles. We all stand together unitedly to fight this pandemic, and I'm sure India will emerge victorious with your goodwill, with your good wishes, and our strong determination of the nation led by my leader, the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Damodar Das Modi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank